Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. 1000 Key Points and Applications of Analytical Reasoning. Analytical reasoning in context to the Drug Regulatory Authority of Pakistan (DRAP) involves numerous key aspects given below. 1. DRAP's primary role is to regulate pharmaceuticals, ensuring safety and efficacy. 2. Analytical reasoning is essential for evaluating complex drug data and information. 3. It involves assessing drug applications to approve or reject them. 4. Analyzing clinical trial results to determine a drug's effectiveness. 5. Identifying potential risks and side effects of pharmaceutical products. 6. Comparing drug formulations to establish bioequivalence. 7. Analyzing manufacturing processes and quality control measures. 8. Evaluating drug stability and shelf life data. 9. Ensuring compliance with drug labeling and packaging regulations. 10. Employing statistical analysis to interpret research findings. 11. Investigating adverse drug reactions reported by healthcare professionals. 12. Analyzing pharmacovigilance data to monitor drug safety. 13. Assessing pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics of drugs. 14. Using analytical reasoning to develop and update drug policies. 15. Evaluating the impact of drug regulations on public health. 16. Analyzing drug pricing and affordability issues. 17. Assessing the economic impact of drug approvals. 18. Considering ethical aspects of drug regulation and access. 19. Using data analysis to detect counterfeit or substandard drugs. 20. Applying analytical skills in assessing drug patent applications. 21. Analyzing drug import and export data. 22. Utilizing data to prioritize drug inspections and audits. 23. Evaluating drug advertising and promotional materials. 24. Analyzing drug registration and renewal processes. 25. Using analytical reasoning to streamline regulatory procedures. 26. Assessing international guidelines and standards for drug regulation. 27. Analyzing data on drug shortages and availability. 28. Identifying potential conflicts of interest in drug approvals. 29. Utilizing data analysis to address drug-related public concerns. 30. Evaluating risk management plans for high-risk drugs. 31. Analyzing data on drug recalls and withdrawals. 32. Assessing the impact of generic drug availability on affordability. 33. Using analytical skills to review drug-related research publications. 34. Analyzing data on drug utilization patterns. 35. Evaluating the effectiveness of post-market surveillance measures. 36. Assessing the impact of pharmaceutical advertising on prescribing practices. 37. Utilizing data to identify trends in drug sales and consumption. 38. Analyzing data on off-label drug use. 39. Evaluating the impact of intellectual property rights on drug accessibility. 40. Using analytical reasoning to forecast drug demand and supply. 41. Assessing the quality and reliability of drug data submitted by manufacturers. 42. Analyzing data on drug interactions and contraindications. 43. Evaluating drug distribution and supply chain management. 44. Using data analysis to detect pharmaceutical fraud and misconduct. 45. Analyzing data on drug resistance and antimicrobial use. 46. Assessing the impact of regulatory changes on the pharmaceutical industry. 47. Utilizing analytical skills to assess the effectiveness of drug education programs. 48. Analyzing data on orphan drugs and rare diseases. 49. Evaluating the impact of drug patents on market competition. 50. Using data analysis to optimize drug registration timelines. 51. Assessing the cost-effectiveness of pharmaceutical treatments. 52. Analyzing data on adverse drug events in vulnerable populations. 53. Evaluating the effectiveness of drug safety communication strategies. 54. Utilizing data to assess drug-related environmental impacts. 55. Analyzing data on drug waste and disposal practices. 56. Assessing the impact of international trade agreements on drug accessibility. 57. Using analytical reasoning to develop risk-based inspection plans. 58. Evaluating the effectiveness of drug supply chain security measures. 59. Analyzing data on medication errors and their causes. 60. Assessing the impact of drug shortages on patient care. 61. Utilizing data analysis to detect medication adherence patterns. 62. Analyzing data on drug donations and humanitarian aid. 63. Evaluating the impact of health insurance coverage on drug access. 64. Assessing the effectiveness of drug packaging and labeling designs. 65. Using analytical skills to review drug patents for potential infringements. 66. Analyzing data on drug resistance in infectious diseases. 67. Evaluating the impact of drug import-export regulations on availability. 68. Assessing the effectiveness of drug donation programs. 69. Utilizing data analysis to identify potential drug counterfeiting trends. 70. Analyzing data on medication errors in healthcare facilities. 71. Evaluating the impact of drug recalls on patient safety. 72. Assessing the effectiveness of drug recall communication strategies. 73. Using analytical reasoning to assess drug import-export licensing. 74. Analyzing data on drug utilization in pediatric populations. 75. Evaluating the impact of drug pricing policies on affordability. 76. Assessing the effectiveness of generic substitution policies. 77. Utilizing data analysis to detect fraudulent drug promotion practices. 78. Analyzing data on drug disposal methods and their environmental impact. 79. Evaluating the impact of drug advertising regulations on public awareness. 80. Assessing the effectiveness of drug safety alert systems. 81. Using analytical skills to review drug patent infringement cases. 82. Analyzing data on drug distribution in rural areas. 83. Evaluating the impact of drug marketing practices on prescribing behavior. 84. Assessing the effectiveness of drug waste reduction initiatives. 85. Utilizing data analysis to identify potential drug shortages. 86. Analyzing data on medication non-adherence rates. 87. Evaluating the impact of drug formulary exclusions on patient access. 88. Assessing the effectiveness of drug information resources for healthcare professionals. 89. Using analytical reasoning to review drug import-export regulations. 90. Analyzing data on drug utilization in elderly populations. 91. Evaluating the impact of drug affordability programs on patient outcomes. 92. Assessing the effectiveness of drug repackaging and relabeling practices. 93. Utilizing data analysis to identify potential drug interactions. 94. Analyzing data on drug distribution in urban areas. 95. Evaluating the impact of drug promotion on healthcare expenditure. 96. Assessing the effectiveness of drug adherence support programs. 97. Using analytical skills to review drug quality testing procedures. 98. Analyzing data on drug utilization in pregnant and breastfeeding women. 99. Evaluating the impact of drug pricing transparency initiatives. 100. Assessing the effectiveness of drug information leaflets for patients. 101. Utilizing data analysis to identify potential drug counterfeiting networks. 102. Analyzing data on drug distribution in low-income communities. 103. Evaluating the impact of drug affordability programs on pharmaceutical companies. 104. Assessing the effectiveness of drug recall notification systems. 105. Using analytical reasoning to review drug patent expiration dates. 106. Analyzing data on drug utilization in specific therapeutic areas. 107. Evaluating the impact of drug price negotiations on access. 108. Assessing the effectiveness of drug information campaigns. 109. Utilizing data analysis to identify potential drug diversion patterns. 110. Analyzing data on drug distribution in high-risk areas. 111. Evaluating the impact of drug affordability programs on healthcare facilities. 112. Assessing the effectiveness of drug safety labeling updates. 113. Using analytical skills to review drug manufacturing practices. 114. Analyzing data on drug utilization in different healthcare settings. 115. Evaluating the impact of drug price regulation on market competition. 116. Assessing the effectiveness of drug disposal education programs. 117. Utilizing data analysis to identify potential drug abuse trends. 118. Analyzing data on drug distribution in schools and universities. 119. Evaluating the impact of drug affordability programs on health outcomes. 120. Data-driven decision-making. Analytical reasoning allows healthcare professionals to base their decisions on data and evidence. 121. Statistical analysis. Utilizing statistical methods to identify patterns and trends in healthcare data. 122. Predictive modeling. Using data to forecast patient outcomes and disease progression. 123. Comparative analysis. Comparing treatment options, protocols, or healthcare systems to determine effectiveness. 124. Root cause analysis. Identifying underlying reasons for medical errors or system inefficiencies. 125. Risk assessment. Evaluating potential risks associated with medical procedures or treatments. 126. Population health analysis. Studying health trends and disparities within a specific population. 127. Resource optimization. Using data to allocate healthcare resources efficiently. 128. Health economics. Applying analytical reasoning to healthcare costs and economic impact. 129. Clinical decision support systems. Implementing data-driven tools to aid in clinical decision-making. 130. Evidence-based medicine. Utilizing research and data to inform medical practices. 131. Health informatics. Applying analytical techniques to healthcare data management. 132. Big data analytics. Handling and analyzing large datasets to derive insights. 133. Machine learning in healthcare. Employing machine learning algorithms for diagnostics and predictions. 134. Real-time monitoring. Using data analysis to track patient conditions in real time. 135. Quality improvement. Identifying areas for improvement and optimizing healthcare processes. 136. Healthcare policy analysis. Evaluating the impact of policy changes on patient care. 137. Patient profiling. Creating patient profiles to personalize treatment plans. 138. Healthcare fraud detection. Using analytics to detect and prevent fraudulent activities in the healthcare system. 139. Outcome measurement. Assessing treatment success and patient outcomes. 140. Patient safety analysis. Identifying potential safety issues and improving patient safety protocols. 141. Electronic health record (EHR) analysis. Analyzing EHR data for insights into patient health. 142. Population health management. Managing health outcomes for larger groups of patients. 143. Predictive maintenance. Applying predictive analytics to healthcare equipment maintenance. 144. Telemedicine analytics. Utilizing data for monitoring and optimizing telemedicine services. 145. Analytical reasoning involves assessing and interpreting data to make logical conclusions. 146. It is a crucial skill in problem-solving and decision-making processes. 147. Analytical reasoning is commonly tested in aptitude exams and job assessments. 148. It requires the ability to recognize patterns and draw inferences from given information. 149. Deductive and inductive reasoning are two fundamental approaches in analytical reasoning. 150. Deductive reasoning involves drawing specific conclusions from general principles. 151. Inductive reasoning involves making generalizations based on specific observations. 152. Analytical reasoning is used in fields like science, mathematics, law, and business. 153. It helps identify relationships between variables and predict outcomes. 154. Venn diagrams and syllogisms are commonly used tools in analytical reasoning. 155. Critical thinking plays a significant role in mastering analytical reasoning. 156. Analytical reasoning can be improved through practice and exposure to various problem-solving scenarios. 157. It aids in detecting flaws in arguments and identifying logical fallacies. 158. Analytical reasoning is closely related to lateral thinking and creativity. 159. It is an essential skill for professionals dealing with data analysis and research. 160. Analytical reasoning can be applied to evaluate the strengths and weaknesses of different options. 161. It helps in identifying assumptions and evaluating their validity. 162. Analytical reasoning skills are highly sought after in the job market. 163. Practice exercises and puzzles can help enhance analytical reasoning abilities. 164. Analytical reasoning involves breaking down complex problems into manageable parts. 165. It requires attention to detail and careful examination of information. 166. Analytical reasoning is used to assess cause and effect relationships. 167. It is essential in forming logical arguments and making persuasive cases. 168. Analytical reasoning can be trained through courses and workshops. 169. Cognitive biases can hinder accurate analytical reasoning. 170. Decision trees are a useful tool in making choices based on analytical reasoning. 171. Analytical reasoning is not solely based on intuition but also on evidence. 172. It helps identify outliers and anomalies in data sets. 173. Analytical reasoning is essential in identifying trends and making predictions. 174. It involves using both qualitative and quantitative data. 175. Analytical reasoning helps in constructing strong hypotheses and theories. 176. It is used in legal reasoning and constructing legal arguments. 177. Analytical reasoning can be employed to evaluate ethical dilemmas and moral issues. 178. It is a valuable skill for project management and resource allocation. 179. Analytical reasoning is critical in scientific research and experimentation. 180. It enables problem solving through systematic and methodical approaches. 181. Analytical reasoning is often used in analyzing financial data and making investment decisions. 182. It aids in evaluating risks and rewards in various scenarios. 183. Analytical reasoning is based on principles of logic and rationality. 184. It involves breaking down complex information into simpler components. 185. Analytical reasoning can be applied to solve puzzles and brain teasers. 186. It helps in understanding cause and effect relationships in historical events. 187. Analytical reasoning is used in diagnosing problems and troubleshooting. 188. It is an essential skill for data analysts and data scientists. 189. Analytical reasoning can be applied to optimize processes and systems. 190. It involves constructing arguments with valid premises and conclusions. 191. Analytical reasoning helps in identifying counterarguments and addressing them effectively. 192. It aids in evaluating the credibility of sources and information. 193. Analytical reasoning is valuable in identifying market trends and consumer behavior. 194. It is used in strategic planning and decision-making in businesses. 195. Analytical reasoning is essential in academic research and writing. 196. It helps in understanding patterns in historical and social trends. 197. Analytical reasoning can be applied to identify gaps in knowledge and areas for further research. 198. It involves comparing and contrasting different possibilities and outcomes. 199. Analytical reasoning is used in software development and debugging. 200. It aids in evaluating the validity of scientific studies and experiments. 201. Analytical reasoning is essential in designing experiments and surveys. 202. It involves using evidence to support claims and conclusions. 203. Analytical reasoning is used in market research and consumer surveys. 204. It helps in identifying logical flaws in arguments and reasoning. 205. Analytical reasoning is essential in data visualization and interpretation. 206. It aids in drawing logical inferences from data patterns. 207. Analytical reasoning is used in assessing the feasibility of projects and initiatives. 208. It helps in making informed judgments based on available information. 209. Analytical reasoning is valuable in identifying cause and effect relationships in historical events. 210. It is employed in intelligence analysis and problem solving in security agencies. 211. Analytical reasoning is critical in software testing and quality assurance. 212. It aids in identifying potential risks and vulnerabilities in systems. 213. Analytical reasoning is essential in identifying logical errors in code and algorithms. 214. It involves using logical frameworks to evaluate arguments and propositions. 215. Analytical reasoning is used in forensic investigations and criminal profiling. 216. It helps in analyzing financial statements and assessing business performance. 217. Analytical reasoning is valuable in making predictions in sports analytics. 218. It aids in understanding and evaluating statistical data. 219. Analytical reasoning is essential in policy analysis and decision-making in governments. 230. It involves using evidence-based approaches to solve problems. 231. Analytical reasoning is used in the field of artificial intelligence and machine learning. 232. It aids in understanding complex systems and their interactions. 233. Analytical reasoning is valuable in diagnosing medical conditions and treatment planning. 234. It involves breaking down complex biological processes into their component parts. 235. Analytical reasoning is used in supply chain management and logistics. 236. It aids in identifying inefficiencies and optimizing resource allocation. 237. Analytical reasoning is essential in crisis management and disaster response. 238. It involves analyzing data from multiple sources to make informed decisions. 239. Analytical reasoning is valuable in political analysis and policymaking. 240. It aids in understanding public opinion and voter behavior. 241. Analytical reasoning is used in environmental impact assessments and sustainability planning. 242. It helps in identifying potential consequences of human activities on the environment. 243. Analytical reasoning is essential in architecture and urban planning. 244. It involves evaluating design choices and their impact on the community. 245. Analytical reasoning is valuable in historical research and understanding past events. 246. It aids in identifying patterns and trends in historical data. 247. Analytical reasoning is used in analyzing market trends and making business forecasts. 248. It helps in understanding consumer preferences and behaviors. 249. Analytical reasoning is essential in auditing and financial analysis. 250. It involves evaluating financial data and identifying discrepancies. 251. Analytical reasoning is valuable in crisis communication and public relations. 252. It aids in crafting messages based on the target audience and situation. 253. Analytical reasoning is used in negotiation and conflict resolution. 254. It helps in understanding the motivations and interests of different parties. 255. Analytical reasoning is essential in assessing technological advancements and their impact on society. 256. It involves evaluating potential benefits and risks of new technologies. 257. Analytical reasoning is valuable in market research and product development. 258. It aids in understanding customer needs and preferences. 269. Analytical reasoning is used in educational assessment and curriculum design. 260. It helps in evaluating the effectiveness of teaching methods and materials. 261. Analytical reasoning is essential in assessing risks in the insurance industry. 262. It involves evaluating actuarial data and predicting future trends. 263. Analytical reasoning is valuable in understanding economic indicators and making financial decisions. 264. Analytical reasoning involves the ability to understand and analyze complex information. 265. It is a crucial skill in problem solving and decision making. 266. Logical reasoning is a key component of analytical reasoning. 267. Analytical reasoning is commonly tested in aptitude and entrance exams. 268. Understanding patterns and relationships is essential for analytical reasoning. 269. Deductive and inductive reasoning are two types of analytical reasoning. 270. Analytical reasoning questions often require critical thinking and attention to detail. 271. Practice is essential to improve analytical reasoning skills. 272. Venn diagrams can be useful for solving analytical reasoning problems. 273. Analytical reasoning questions can involve syllogisms and logical deductions. 274. Time management is crucial while attempting analytical reasoning questions. 275. Analyzing data and information is a core aspect of analytical reasoning. 276. Analytical reasoning is applicable in various fields, including mathematics, science, and business. 277. Understanding cause and effect relationships is vital for analytical reasoning. 278. Analyzing arguments and drawing conclusions is part of analytical reasoning. 279. Analytical reasoning helps in evaluating the strengths and weaknesses of an argument. 280. Practice with sample questions can enhance analytical reasoning abilities. 281. Using charts and graphs can assist in visualizing analytical reasoning problems. 282. Analytical reasoning can be used to solve puzzles and brain teasers. 283. Analytical reasoning questions may involve numerical data and statistics. 284. Recognizing logical fallacies is important in analytical reasoning. 285. Analytical reasoning is not solely based on intuition but requires logical thought processes. 286. Analytical reasoning is used in competitive exams like GMAT, GRE, and LSAT. 287. Analytical reasoning helps in assessing the validity of assumptions. 288. Inductive reasoning involves making generalizations based on specific observations. 289. Deductive reasoning involves deriving specific conclusions from general premises. 290. Analyzing different viewpoints is essential for analytical reasoning. 291. Analytical reasoning is a valuable skill in problem-solving interviews. 292. Recognizing patterns in sequences is crucial for analytical reasoning. 293. Analytical reasoning helps in evaluating evidence and making informed judgments. 294. Analytical reasoning is essential in analyzing market trends and business strategies. 295. Analytical reasoning helps in identifying flaws in an argument. 296. Analyzing the structure of arguments is part of analytical reasoning. 297. Analytical reasoning questions can be time-consuming if not practiced regularly. 298. Analyzing data tables is a common component of analytical reasoning tests. 299. Analytical reasoning is useful in identifying logical inconsistencies. 300. Analytical reasoning skills are beneficial in legal reasoning and courtroom arguments. 301. Recognizing implicit and explicit information is vital in analytical reasoning. 302. Analytical reasoning helps in solving complex real-life problems. 303. Analytical reasoning is critical in decision-making processes. 304. Analyzing cause and effect relationships is integral to analytical reasoning. 305. Analytical reasoning helps in evaluating research methodologies and findings. 306. Recognizing analogies and patterns is essential for analytical reasoning. 307. Analytical reasoning is a valuable skill in data analysis and interpretation. 308. Analyzing data trends is part of analytical reasoning. 309. Analytical reasoning helps in drawing conclusions from experimental results. 310. Recognizing logical sequences is crucial in analytical reasoning. 311. Analytical reasoning is essential in computer programming and coding. 312. Analyzing coding patterns is part of analytical reasoning in programming. 313. Analytical reasoning is a core skill in strategic planning and management. 314. Recognizing the validity of arguments is vital in analytical reasoning. 315. Analytical reasoning is used in psychological assessments and tests. 316. Analyzing correlations between variables is part of analytical reasoning. 317. Analytical reasoning helps in identifying assumptions in an argument. 318. Recognizing the relevance of information is crucial in analytical reasoning. 319. Analytical reasoning is vital in risk assessment and mitigation. 320. Analyzing financial data is a common application of analytical reasoning. 321. Analytical reasoning helps in problem solving in engineering and science. 322. Recognizing patterns in language is essential for analytical reasoning. 323. Analytical reasoning is useful in project management and planning. 324. Analyzing logical flow in writing is part of analytical reasoning. 325. Analytical reasoning is essential in market research and analysis. 326. Analyzing historical data is crucial in analytical reasoning. 327. Analytical reasoning helps in understanding complex systems and processes. 328. Recognizing numerical patterns is important for analytical reasoning. 329. Analytical reasoning is used in quality control and process improvement. 330. Analyzing statistical data is part of analytical reasoning. 331. Analytical reasoning helps in evaluating the credibility of sources. 332. Recognizing contradictions in arguments is essential in analytical reasoning. 333. Analytical reasoning is vital in public policy analysis and formulation. 334. Analyzing survey data is a common application of analytical reasoning. 335. Analytical reasoning helps in identifying biased information and opinions. 336. Recognizing cause and effect relationships in history is crucial for analytical reasoning. 337. Analytical reasoning is used in strategic marketing and advertising. 338. Analyzing patterns in consumer behavior is part of analytical reasoning. 339. Analytical reasoning helps in evaluating the feasibility of projects and ideas. 340. Recognizing patterns in biological processes is essential for analytical reasoning. 341. Analytical reasoning is vital in medical diagnosis and treatment planning. 342. Analyzing patterns in environmental data is part of analytical reasoning. 343. Analytical reasoning helps in identifying trends in economic data. 344. Recognizing patterns in social behavior is important for analytical reasoning. 345. Analytical reasoning is used in predicting market trends and behavior. 346. Analyzing patterns in historical events is part of analytical reasoning. 347. Analytical reasoning helps in evaluating the impact of policies and decisions. 348. Recognizing patterns in artistic works is essential for analytical reasoning. 339. Analytical reasoning is crucial in risk analysis and management. 350. Analyzing patterns in geological data is part of analytical reasoning. 351. Analytical reasoning helps in evaluating ethical dilemmas and moral issues. 352. Recognizing patterns in climate data is important for analytical reasoning. 353. Analytical reasoning is used in forecasting future trends and outcomes. 354. Analyzing patterns in astronomical data is part of analytical reasoning. 355. Analytical reasoning helps in identifying patterns in consumer preferences. 356. Recognizing patterns in social media data is essential for analytical reasoning. 357. Analytical reasoning is vital in understanding public opinion and sentiment. 358. Analyzing patterns in stock market data is part of analytical reasoning. 359. Analytical reasoning helps in making data-driven business decisions. 360. Recognizing patterns in geological formations is crucial for analytical reasoning. 361. Analytical reasoning is used in forensic investigations and crime analysis. 362. Analyzing patterns in genetic data is part of analytical reasoning in biology. 363. Analytical reasoning helps in evaluating the reliability of scientific studies. 364. Recognizing patterns in archaeological findings is essential for analytical reasoning. 365. Analytical reasoning is crucial in assessing historical events and timelines. 366. Analyzing patterns in linguistic data is part of analytical reasoning. 367. Analytical reasoning helps in understanding language evolution and change. 368. Recognizing patterns in market demand is important for analytical reasoning. 369. Analytical reasoning is used in supply chain management and logistics. 370. Analyzing patterns in transportation data is part of analytical reasoning. 371. Analytical reasoning helps in optimizing transportation routes and systems. 372. Recognizing patterns in energy consumption is essential for analytical reasoning. 373. Analytical reasoning assesses logical and critical thinking skills. 374. It helps pharmacists analyze complex data and draw meaningful conclusions. 375. Pharmacists use analytical reasoning to evaluate drug safety and efficacy. 376. The process involves understanding and interpreting information. 377. Analytical reasoning is essential for decision-making in regulatory roles. 378. It aids in identifying potential risks associated with drugs. 369. Pharmacists use analytical reasoning to interpret clinical trial results. 380. It helps in assessing the impact of drug interactions. 381. Analytical reasoning enables pharmacists to evaluate adverse events. 382. It is crucial for detecting anomalies in drug manufacturing processes. 383. Pharmacists apply analytical reasoning to assess drug labeling accuracy. 384. It involves identifying patterns in large datasets. 385. Analytical reasoning is applicable in pharmacovigilance activities. 386. Pharmacists use this skill to evaluate drug stability and shelf life. 387. It aids in evaluating bioequivalence studies for generic drugs. 388. Analytical reasoning helps pharmacists in pharmaceutical research. 389. It enables critical evaluation of drug advertising claims. 390. Pharmacists use analytical reasoning to assess drug quality. 391. It is crucial for reviewing pharmacokinetic studies. 392. Analytical reasoning assists in regulatory compliance assessments. 393. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug packaging integrity. 394. It helps in evaluating the effectiveness of drug formulations. 395. Analytical reasoning aids in identifying counterfeit drugs. 396. Pharmacists apply this skill to assess clinical trial methodologies. 397. It enables the evaluation of drug stability under different conditions. 398. Analytical reasoning helps in identifying potential drug side effects. 399. Pharmacists use this skill to assess the impact of drug recalls. 400. It aids in detecting deviations from pharmacopoeial standards. 401. Analytical reasoning is important in evaluating drug dissolution profiles. 402. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug impurity levels. 403. It enables the evaluation of drug delivery systems. 404. Analytical reasoning aids in detecting medication errors. 405. Pharmacists use this skill to assess the reliability of drug suppliers. 406. It helps in evaluating drug storage conditions. 407. Analytical reasoning enables the assessment of drug metabolism. 408. Pharmacists use this skill to evaluate drug stability studies. 409. It aids in assessing drug pharmacodynamics. 410. Analytical reasoning is crucial for interpreting drug labeling regulations. 411. Pharmacists use this skill to evaluate drug batch records. 482. It aids in assessing drug bioavailability studies. 413. Analytical reasoning helps in evaluating drug dissolution methods. 414. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug transport mechanisms. 415. It aids in evaluating the statistical significance of study results. 416. Analytical reasoning is essential for assessing drug dosage forms. 417. Pharmacists use this skill to evaluate drug release kinetics. 418. It aids in identifying potential drug interactions with food. 419. Analytical reasoning helps in evaluating drug stability indicating methods. 420. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug solubility. 421. It aids in evaluating drug toxicity studies. 422. Analytical reasoning is crucial for interpreting drug monographs. 423. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug excipient compatibility. 424. It aids in evaluating drug degradation pathways. 425. Analytical reasoning helps in assessing drug manufacturing process validations. 426. Pharmacists use this skill to evaluate drug substance characterization. 427. It aids in identifying potential drug-drug interactions. 428. Analytical reasoning enables the evaluation of drug efficacy studies. 429. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug impurity profiling. 430. It helps in evaluating drug formulation stability studies. 431. Analytical reasoning aids in identifying drug adulteration. 432. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug metabolism pathways. 433. It aids in evaluating drug excipient sourcing. 434. Analytical reasoning helps in assessing drug bioequivalence criteria. 435. Pharmacists use this skill to evaluate drug absorption mechanisms. 436. It aids in identifying potential drug adverse effects. 437. Analytical reasoning enables the evaluation of drug safety profiles. 438. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug dissolution kinetics. 439. It aids in evaluating drug therapeutic index. 440. Analytical reasoning helps in interpreting drug regulatory guidelines. 441. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug particle size distribution. 442. It aids in evaluating drug efficacy in specific patient populations. 443. Analytical reasoning is crucial for identifying drug quality control measures. 444. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug stability under accelerated conditions. 445. It aids in evaluating drug genotoxicity studies. 446. Analytical reasoning helps in interpreting drug labeling requirements. 447. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug polymorphism. 448. It aids in evaluating drug-drug interaction potential. 449. Analytical reasoning enables the assessment of drug therapeutic equivalence. 450. Pharmacists use this skill to evaluate drug bioavailability profiles. 451. It helps in identifying potential drug allergic reactions. 452. Analytical reasoning aids in evaluating drug process validation protocols. 453. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug degradation studies. 454. It aids in interpreting drug packaging regulations. 455. Analytical reasoning helps in assessing drug pharmacokinetics. 456. Pharmacists use this skill to evaluate drug impurity identification methods. 457. It aids in evaluating drug efficacy in comparative studies. 458. Analytical reasoning enables the assessment of drug dissolution apparatus suitability. 459. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug compatibility with primary packaging. 460. It helps in evaluating therapeutic drug monitoring criteria. 461. Analytical reasoning aids in identifying drug counterfeiting measures. 462. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug solubility enhancement techniques. 463. It aids in evaluating drug stability under long-term conditions. 464. Analytical reasoning helps in interpreting drug compondile standards. 465. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug degradation kinetics. 466. It aids in evaluating drug safety in special populations. 467. Analytical reasoning enables the assessment of drug dissolution media selection. 468. Pharmacists use this skill to interpret drug pharmacodynamics. 469. It helps in identifying potential drug-drug interaction mechanisms. 470. Analytical reasoning aids in evaluating drug impurity qualification thresholds. 471. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug absorption pathways. 472. It aids in evaluating drug stability indicating analytical methods. 473. Analytical reasoning helps in interpreting drug regulatory requirements for post-marketing surveillance. 474. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug dissolution method development. 475. It aids in evaluating drug formulation process optimization. 476. Analytical reasoning aids in identifying drug storage stability studies. 477. Pharmacists use this skill to interpret drug toxicokinetics. 478. It helps in assessing drug quality control procedures. 479. Analytical reasoning enables the evaluation of drug incompatibility with excipients. 480. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug degradation mechanisms. 481. It aids in identifying potential drug-drug interactions in specific patient populations. 482. Analytical reasoning helps in evaluating drug regulatory submissions. 483. Pharmacists use this skill to interpret drug bioequivalence data. 484. It aids in evaluating drug safety in pediatric patients. 485. Analytical reasoning enables the assessment of drug dissolution method validation. 486. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug container closure systems. 487. It helps in evaluating drug stability indicating impurity methods. 488. Analytical reasoning aids in identifying drug adulteration detection techniques. 589. Analytical reasoning assesses logical and critical thinking skills. 490. It helps pharmacists analyze complex data and draw meaningful conclusions. 491. Pharmacists use analytical reasoning to evaluate drug safety and efficacy. 492. The process involves understanding and interpreting information. 493. Analytical reasoning is essential for decision-making in regulatory roles. 494. It aids in identifying potential risks associated with drugs. 495. Pharmacists use analytical reasoning to interpret clinical trial results. 496. It helps in assessing the impact of drug interactions. 497. Analytical reasoning enables pharmacists to evaluate adverse events. 498. It is crucial for detecting anomalies in drug manufacturing processes. 499. Pharmacists apply analytical reasoning to assess drug labeling accuracy. 500. It involves identifying patterns in large datasets. 501. Analytical reasoning is applicable in pharmacovigilance activities. 502. Pharmacists use this skill to evaluate drug stability and shelf life. 503. It aids in evaluating bioequivalence studies for generic drugs. 504. Analytical reasoning helps pharmacists in pharmaceutical research. 505. It enables critical evaluation of drug advertising claims. 506. Pharmacists use analytical reasoning to assess drug quality. 507. It is crucial for reviewing pharmacokinetic studies. 508. Analytical reasoning assists in regulatory compliance assessments. 509. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug packaging integrity. 510. It helps in evaluating the effectiveness of drug formulations. 511. Analytical reasoning aids in identifying counterfeit drugs. 512. Pharmacists apply this skill to assess clinical trial methodologies. 513. It enables the evaluation of drug stability under different conditions. 514. Analytical reasoning helps in identifying potential drug side effects. 515. Pharmacists use this skill to assess the impact of drug recalls. 516. It aids in detecting deviations from pharmacopoeial standards. 517. Analytical reasoning is important in evaluating drug dissolution profiles. 518. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug impurity levels. 519. It enables the evaluation of drug delivery systems. 520. Analytical reasoning aids in detecting medication errors. 521. Pharmacists use this skill to assess the reliability of drug suppliers. 522. It helps in evaluating drug storage conditions. 523. Analytical reasoning enables the assessment of drug metabolism. 524. Pharmacists use this skill to evaluate drug stability studies. 525. It aids in assessing drug pharmacodynamics. 526. Analytical reasoning is crucial for interpreting drug labeling regulations. 527. Pharmacists use this skill to evaluate drug batch records. 528. It aids in assessing drug bioavailability studies. 529. Analytical reasoning helps in evaluating drug dissolution methods. 530. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug transport mechanisms. 531. It aids in evaluating the statistical significance of study results. 532. Analytical reasoning is essential for assessing drug dosage forms. 533. Pharmacists use this skill to evaluate drug release kinetics. 534. It aids in identifying potential drug interactions with food. 535. Analytical reasoning helps in evaluating drug stability indicating methods. 536. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug solubility. 537. It aids in evaluating drug toxicity studies. 538. Analytical reasoning is crucial for interpreting drug monographs. 539. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug excipient compatibility. 540. It aids in evaluating drug degradation pathways. 541. Analytical reasoning helps in assessing drug manufacturing process validations. 542. Pharmacists use this skill to evaluate drug substance characterization. 543. It aids in identifying potential drug-drug interactions. 544. Analytical reasoning enables the evaluation of drug efficacy studies. 545. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug impurity profiling. 546. It helps in evaluating drug formulation stability studies. 547. Analytical reasoning aids in identifying drug adulteration. 548. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug metabolism pathways. 549. It aids in evaluating drug excipient sourcing. 550. Analytical reasoning helps in assessing drug bioequivalence criteria. 551. Pharmacists use this skill to evaluate drug absorption mechanisms. 552. It aids in identifying potential drug adverse effects. 553. Analytical reasoning enables the evaluation of drug safety profiles. 554. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug dissolution kinetics. 555. It aids in evaluating drug therapeutic index. 556. Analytical reasoning helps in interpreting drug regulatory guidelines. 557. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug particle size distribution. 558. It aids in evaluating drug efficacy in specific patient populations. 559. Analytical reasoning is crucial for identifying drug quality control measures. 560. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug stability under accelerated conditions. 561. It aids in evaluating drug genotoxicity studies. 562. Analytical reasoning helps in interpreting drug labeling requirements. 563. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug polymorphism. 564. It aids in evaluating drug-drug interaction potential. 565. Analytical reasoning enables the assessment of drug therapeutic equivalence. 566. Pharmacists use this skill to evaluate drug bioavailability profiles. 567. It helps in identifying potential drug allergic reactions. 568. Analytical reasoning aids in evaluating drug process validation protocols. 569. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug degradation studies. 570. It aids in interpreting drug packaging regulations. 571. Analytical reasoning helps in assessing drug pharmacokinetics. 572. Pharmacists use this skill to evaluate drug impurity identification methods. 573. It aids in evaluating drug efficacy in comparative studies. 574. Analytical reasoning enables the assessment of drug dissolution apparatus suitability. 575. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug compatibility with primary packaging. 576. It helps in evaluating drug therapeutic drug monitoring criteria. 577. Analytical reasoning aids in identifying drug counterfeiting measures. 578. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug solubility enhancement techniques. 579. It aids in evaluating drug stability under long-term conditions. 580. Analytical reasoning helps in interpreting drug compendial standards. 581. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug degradation kinetics. 582. It aids in evaluating drug safety in special populations. 583. Analytical reasoning enables the assessment of drug dissolution media selection. 584. Pharmacists use this skill to interpret drug pharmacodynamics. 585. It helps in identifying potential drug-drug interaction mechanisms. 586. Analytical reasoning aids in evaluating drug impurity qualification thresholds. 587. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug absorption pathways. 588. It aids in evaluating drug stability indicating analytical methods. 589. Analytical reasoning helps in interpreting drug regulatory requirements for post-marketing surveillance. 590. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug dissolution method development. 591. It aids in evaluating drug formulation process optimization. 592. Analytical reasoning aids in identifying drug storage stability studies. 593. Pharmacists use this skill to interpret drug toxicokinetics. 594. It helps in assessing drug quality control procedures. 595. Analytical reasoning enables the evaluation of drug incompatibility with excipients. 596. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug degradation mechanisms. 597. It aids in identifying potential drug-drug interactions in specific patient populations. 598. Analytical reasoning helps in evaluating drug regulatory submissions. 599. Pharmacists use this skill to interpret drug bioequivalence data. 600. It aids in evaluating drug safety in pediatric patients. 601. Analytical reasoning enables the assessment of drug dissolution method validation. 602. Pharmacists use this skill to assess drug container closure systems. 603. It helps in evaluating drug stability indicating impurity methods. 604. Analytical reasoning aids in identifying drug adulteration detection techniques. 605. Analytical reasoning involves examining information to draw conclusions. 606. It's crucial in problem solving as it helps identify patterns and make informed decisions. 607. Types of analytical reasoning include deductive and inductive reasoning. 608. Deductive reasoning starts with a general premise and draws specific conclusions. 609. Inductive reasoning starts with specific observations and derives general conclusions. 610. Logical fallacies or errors in reasoning that can lead to false conclusions. 611. Problem-solving strategies include breaking down complex problems into smaller ones. 612. Critical thinking involves objectively evaluating information to make logical judgments. 613. Venn diagrams are analytical tools used to visualize relationships between sets. 614. Decision trees are graphical representations used to make decisions based on multiple options. 615. Data analysis involves examining and interpreting data to uncover insights. 616. Analytical thinking differs from creative thinking, which involves generating novel ideas. 617. Practice exercises help improve analytical reasoning skills through repetition. 618. Analytical reasoning is applicable in various real-world scenarios, such as business analysis. 619. Cognitive biases are mental shortcuts that can lead to flawed reasoning. 620. Evaluating arguments involves assessing their validity and soundness. 621. Quantitative reasoning involves using numerical data to draw conclusions. 622. Standardized tests often assess analytical reasoning skills. 623. Ethical considerations in analytical reasoning involve responsible use of data and information. 624. Decision-making relies on analytical reasoning to assess options and consequences. 625. Problem identification involves recognizing and defining an issue to solve it effectively. 626. Pattern recognition helps identify recurring themes or trends in data. 627. Cognitive flexibility is the ability to adapt and switch between different thinking strategies. 628. Cognitive flexibility is valuable as it enables problem solving in diverse situations. 629. Analytical reasoning is essential in legal analysis and argumentation. 630. Analyzing financial data helps make informed investment decisions. 631. Analytical reasoning is crucial in scientific research to draw valid conclusions. 632. Problem solving using analytical reasoning is prevalent in engineering fields. 633. Identifying market trends through data analysis aids business decision making. 634. Cognitive biases can influence investment decisions in the stock market. 635. Analyzing historical data helps predict future trends in various domains. 636. Analytical reasoning is useful in diagnosing and treating medical conditions. 637. Identifying consumer behavior patterns helps in marketing strategies. 638. Cognitive flexibility is beneficial in negotiations and conflict resolution. 639. Analyzing traffic data aids in urban planning and infrastructure development. 640. Analytical reasoning is vital in cybersecurity to identify potential threats. 641. Understanding customer preferences through data analysis enhances product development. 642. Analyzing performance metrics assists in optimizing business processes. 643. Cognitive biases can hinder unbiased decision-making in politics. 644. Analytical reasoning is valuable in identifying fraudulent activities in finance. 645. Pattern recognition helps in natural language processing for machine learning. 646. Analyzing climate data aids in predicting weather patterns and climate change. 647. Cognitive flexibility is critical in adapting to new technologies and innovations. 648. Analyzing historical data helps identify societal trends and changes. 649. Analytical reasoning is integral in optimizing supply chain operations. 650. Problem solving using analytical reasoning is crucial in disaster response planning. 651. Identifying patterns in consumer feedback assists in product improvement. 652. Cognitive biases can affect criminal investigations and judicial decisions. 653. Analyzing user behavior helps enhance user experience in software development. 654. Analytical reasoning is essential in optimizing transportation and logistics. 655. Understanding demographic data aids in effective marketing campaigns. 656. Cognitive flexibility is beneficial in cross-cultural communication and understanding. 657. Analyzing educational data aids in improving teaching methods and curriculum. 658. Identifying patterns in stock market data aids in algorithmic trading. 659. Analytical reasoning is critical in optimizing energy consumption and sustainability. 660. Problem solving using analytical reasoning is crucial in space exploration. 661. Cognitive biases can impact decision making in healthcare and patient care. 662. Analyzing crime data aids in developing crime prevention strategies. 663. Understanding voting patterns helps in political campaign strategies. 664. Analytical reasoning is valuable in optimizing website performance and user engagement. 665. Identifying patterns in social media data assists in targeted advertising. 666. Cognitive flexibility is beneficial in adapting to changing business environments. 667. Analyzing sports performance data aids in improving athlete training programs. 668. Analytical reasoning is essential in optimizing agricultural practices and crop yields. 669. Problem solving using analytical reasoning is crucial in environmental conservation. 670. Cognitive biases can influence jury decisions in legal trials. 671. Analyzing customer feedback helps in enhancing product features and usability. 672. Identifying patterns in medical data aids in early disease detection. 673. Analytical reasoning is critical in optimizing manufacturing processes and quality control. 674. Understanding economic data aids in making informed financial decisions. 675. Cognitive flexibility is valuable in strategic planning and organizational management. 676. Analyzing website traffic data assists in search engine optimization. 677. Identifying patterns in online behavior helps prevent cybercrime and fraud. 678. Analytical reasoning is essential in optimizing healthcare delivery systems. 679. Problem solving using analytical reasoning is crucial in disaster recovery efforts. 680. Cognitive biases can impact hiring decisions and employee evaluations. 681. Analyzing social trends data aids in understanding cultural shifts and preferences. 682. Identifying patterns in climate data helps in climate change mitigation efforts. 683. Analytical reasoning is critical in optimizing educational resources and learning outcomes. 684. Understanding demographic data aids in effective public policy planning. 685. Cognitive flexibility is beneficial in adapting to technological disruptions. 686. Analyzing financial market data aids in investment portfolio management. 687. Identifying patterns in energy consumption data helps in energy conservation. 688. Analytical reasoning is essential in optimizing healthcare resource allocation. 689. Problem solving using analytical reasoning is crucial in disaster preparedness planning. 690. Cognitive biases can impact advertising strategies and consumer behavior. 691. Analyzing customer purchase data aids in targeted marketing campaigns. 692. Identifying patterns in transportation data helps in traffic management. 693. Analytical reasoning is critical in optimizing retail inventory management. 694. Understanding crime data aids in effective law enforcement strategies. 695. Cognitive flexibility is valuable in adapting to remote work and virtual collaboration. 696. Analyzing academic performance data aids in improving educational policies. 697. Identifying patterns in weather data helps in climate prediction and forecasting. 698. Analytical reasoning is essential in optimizing water resource management. 699. Problem solving using analytical reasoning is crucial in public health emergencies. 700. Cognitive biases can impact investment decisions in the real estate market. 701. Analyzing social media trends data aids in influencer marketing strategies. 702. Identifying patterns in transportation data assists in urban planning. 703. Analytical reasoning is critical in optimizing waste management systems. 704. Understanding travel data aids in tourism industry planning and marketing. 705. Cognitive flexibility is beneficial in adapting to changing consumer preferences. 706. Analyzing crime patterns data helps in developing community policing strategies. 707. Identifying patterns in financial data aids in detecting fraudulent activities. 708. Analytical reasoning is essential in optimizing public transportation systems. 709. Problem solving using analytical reasoning is crucial in public policy development. 710. Cognitive biases can influence decision making in international relations and diplomacy. 711. Analyzing user interaction data aids in improving website design and functionality. 712. Identifying patterns in medical research data assists in drug development. 713. Analytical reasoning is critical in optimizing renewable energy sources. 714. Understanding market trends data aids in making strategic business decisions. 715. Cognitive flexibility is valuable in adapting to changing consumer markets. 716. Analyzing environmental data helps in conservation and sustainability efforts. 717. Analytical reasoning assesses your ability to analyze complex information. 718. It involves critical thinking and problem-solving skills. 719. Logical reasoning is essential for pharmacists to make sound decisions. 720. Understanding cause and effect relationships is crucial. 721. You'll encounter scenarios where you need to identify patterns and trends. 722. Analyzing data accurately is vital for regulatory compliance. 723. Recognizing inconsistencies helps prevent errors in drug regulation. 8. Identifying relevant information is crucial for effective decision-making. 724. Analytical reasoning improves your ability to interpret guidelines and regulations. 725. You may need to compare and contrast different drug-related information. 726. Understanding the implications of data is essential for regulatory actions. 727. Analytical reasoning enhances your ability to evaluate scientific literature. 728. Interpreting statistical data helps in assessing drug safety and efficacy. 729. You'll encounter problems that require you to deduce information. 730. Inductive reasoning enables you to make generalizations from specific cases. 731. Identifying assumptions helps in accurate data interpretation. 732. Strengthening or weakening arguments is a part of analytical reasoning. 733. You'll face challenges involving conditional statements and logic. 734. Diagrammatic reasoning may be used to evaluate drug interactions. 735. Analyzing data from clinical trials is vital for regulatory decisions. 736. Identifying logical fallacies ensures accurate assessments. 737. You'll encounter puzzles and riddles to test your problem-solving skills. 738. Analytical reasoning helps in detecting potential risks in drug use. 739. Understanding pharmaceutical terminologies aids in data interpretation. 740. You may need to evaluate the credibility of drug-related studies. 741. Identifying causal relationships assists in risk assessment. 742. Recognizing conflicting information is crucial for decision-making. 743. Logical reasoning allows for systematic evaluation of data. 744. You'll encounter questions involving conditional statements. 745. Analyzing pharmacokinetics data helps in dose determination. 746. Recognizing data trends aids in predicting drug behavior. 747. Drawing logical conclusions is essential for regulatory decisions. 748. Interpreting drug labeling information is part of analytical reasoning. 749. You may need to evaluate drug interaction potentials. 750. Understanding clinical trial methodologies is crucial for evaluation. 751. Analyzing side effect profiles aids in safety assessment. 752. Identifying contraindications is vital for regulatory actions. 753. You'll encounter questions involving syllogisms. 754. Recognizing logical equivalences helps in data analysis. 755. Identifying redundant information streamlines decision-making. 756. Understanding drug classifications aids in regulatory evaluations. 757. You may need to assess the impact of drug recalls. 758. Evaluating data from post-marketing surveillance is part of the process. 759. Analyzing drug formulation data helps in quality control. 760. Recognizing inconsistencies in drug manufacturing data is essential. 761. You'll encounter scenarios involving time-sensitive decisions. 762. Logical reasoning aids in solving complex drug-related problems. 763. Understanding pharmacodynamics is crucial for drug evaluation. 764. Identifying potential drug abuse risks is a part of analytical reasoning. 765. Interpreting adverse drug reaction reports helps in safety assessment. 766. You may need to evaluate drug efficacy data from different sources. 767. Analyzing drug distribution data aids in supply chain management. 768. Recognizing data outliers is crucial for accurate assessments. 769. Identifying potential drug-drug interactions is part of the process. 770. Understanding pharmaceutical marketing tactics is relevant. 771.